revolved around waking up, going to school, coming back home, deciding what to eat, fixing my homework, and figuring out how to play with my friends. But as I grew older, reality began to set in. By the time I turned 9, I had started to realize something I hadn't noticed before. My single mother might be struggling financially. The clues were subtle but unmistakable. My classmates often had things I could only dream of, and for the first time, I understood that our circumstances were different. Our families do a good job of sheltering children from difficulties. I didn't realize back then, but little did I know that every year I would encounter new challenges that required solutions. Each problem I faced became an opportunity to learn, and it started to shape me through experience. I see these experiences as the foundation of wisdom. Wisdom that only grows when reflect on our past. Now, I understand that problems are natural. It's a part of life. And solutions are what propel us forward into maturity. By embracing these two principles, acknowledging problems and seeking solutions, I have continued to grow, using each challenge as building block for personal development. This gives us a chance to create our paths. I didn't know exactly where I was headed, but I began to notice that my thoughts were no longer just about myself. They often extended to the people around me. I saw this clearly when I realized my mom couldn't afford what I. This realization pushed me to think deeply. And over time, thinking became more than just a habit. It became a discipline. It transformed me from being merely a talkative to what I know now or call thinkative. Tonight, I stand before you addressing a nation I'm part of, rooted in the soil that shaped me. This is the land I come from, the land I will live for, and whether I like it or not, the land I will one day die for. It is here, at this moment, that I aim to describe and define the true state of the nation, the reality of the place we call home. The people have shaped me, and the people I strive to shape. These are the ones I stand before today. These are my people, the ones who define me as much as I hope to define them. What brought me here? Was it the path of a worker, an entrepreneur, or a leader, or perhaps an industrialist, or an economist? What truly brought me here is life. Life, with all its challenges and lessons, has been my guide. And over time, I have grown not just into a man, but also into a father, a husband, and ultimately a leader. I've come to realize that my responsibilities extend far beyond the shelter where I was raised. They transcend into the nation I call home. This understanding has me, or maybe I don't merely have a job, but it has shown me true understanding that my job is that I have a vision. I have a mission to redeem a nation that I belong to uplift the people I live among, and to rebuild a country that has stumbled and struggled to develop. Fellow citizens, join me as we reflect on the just ended 276 constituency tour, a journey that has exposed to me the real state of our nation, the struggles, the pollution, the pain, the agony, the deprivation, and the reasons why our economy has never been built. I first of all would like to start with the philanthropical works that we did. As I went on a tour, I was moved to help alleviate the sufferings of the people by helping them beginning economic ventures such as crop farming, sheep farming or rearing, fish farming. I did some guinea fowl farming too, boreholes for potable drinking water. Ghana, this was hard to behold, the sorry state of our country. Now I realized that in our political world, we normally pay people so they can vote for us. We normally invest in ourselves, in our political parties, and not in the people. This leads the people into corruption. I thought that I could change the political narrative by using the 276 constituency tool to actually harness the people and the way they live and bring their hope back. So I invested the money that I will use for most of the billboards and flags and so many other things and paying people to pay into the people. And we ended up giving bicycles. We ended up giving families farms, sheep farming, so they can start creating their own business. You know, we did a lot of fish farming in Adan. Was very interesting to see that 2,000 fishes can become a lot of things. But that was because that I have seen what a lot haven't seen. Let me now lead you into some of the challenges, the opportunities I saw in some of the regions too. Let me start from Eastern. I left Accra, and the first region was Eastern, where my tour really began. I visited Nsawam at Duajiri constituency, and that's where I found a blind man who have, or should I say, in this particular home for 65 years without electricity. He actually attended the same school, primary school, with the late Jerry John Rawlings, our president. May he so rest in peace. Right there, the level of social inequality became apparent to me. In the Eastern region, I found the potential of the Afram Plains as a place capable of feeding the entire continent of Africa. Meanwhile, the people of Afram Plains, north and south, live in an abject poverty with close to no hope of prosperity. I always believe that if we turn each region around, like we said in our 12 pillars, each region will contribute to the success of our economy. So for me, Eastern region, where you have Kwawu, you have Koforidia, you have Diamond, you have all of this, but the people are jobless, was my first warning in a tour. But I was yet to wait to see more of what is going to happen. Now moving to Ashanti region was after I left the Eastern. I went to Ashanti region and Bono region. Ashanti region is by far maybe I stand to be corrected, the region with the most constituencies, meaning that it could be the biggest region, if I'm correct. And it has a lot of potential. In farming, in mining, Ashanti region is worth, and you can see the development in Ashanti region. I thought that without industrialization, without helping these people to know what cocoa can do, it's going to be very difficult for them to be built again as a constituency becoming a state or a mini city to feed their people. I also saw a lot of potential, enormous potential avenues. I mean, River Pra and Tano, it's some of the biggest rivers in this country. I know the sea to Kumasi. Well, that's exactly where it has to come from. You know, it has to come from. You know, bringing it from Pra is already into the sea, so it's a matter of dredging it and letting it go into Kumasi and letting the sea come in there. But not for just leisure. It will be for logistics. It will be for irrigation. It will be for a lot of things. This will position the regions to control a third of the projected 4.7 trillion national harness. It will unite the regions. That's why I laid a request before Osajifo Ajimai Bedu to reconcile with our dear father, Asante Hine Utumfo. And I want to thank these two leaders for understanding that unity is stronger than separation. The North. Before we go to the North regions, I would like to talk a little bit more about the Bono regions and what I saw there in Techiman and all other places. When I combine it with Ashanti, I know that the two can really help Ghana to revive its economy again. Before I go on, I would like to comment on all the women in the North. They have held these regions down. They work non-stop by traveling unimaginably long distance to defend for their families. It was here that I met Auntie Samantha, a woman in Wale Wale who has used kulikuli. I don't know if you all remember kulikuli, to cater for 7 children. Her story is impeccable. Just 50 meters from Samantha's house was a group of men who used imported thread to sew fugu and kente, but using a self-crafted wooden equipment wouldn't put them on a commercial level. With a lot of determination to work, I could see clearly that they are not equipped to do so. I believe that industrialization can help expand this talents and harness the skills in this area. Just when I saw that we've seen enough, I also witnessed something with my own eyes. I saw a school where children had no chairs to sit on and tap water to drink. This blew my mind in a negative way. Dear citizens, these were all in the hometown of a man who has been also a vice president. He had been touted as the economic whiz kid. I believe that what I also saw in Tamale South constituency, I chanced on a community called Kadula, where we went to donate a borehole for people to get clean water to drink. This is where I met a kid that was fetching water from the same color as the Galamsey water. And I was wondering what they were going to use it for. But that was for drinking. Right in my sight, it is a constituency controlled by a former majority leader in parliament. In Bole, Bamboy, the hometown of our ex-president, who is also part of the candidate competition, I was touched to establish a guinea fowl farm for 5 families, as I could not stand the poverty I saw. Like Bole, I didn't leave the other deprived communities without a project. I built a borehole in Kadula, in many other places, to provide clean drinking water for people. There were hospitals who didn't have water in Wale Wale. This I did in many other areas. But I question myself, if all these leaders cannot simply cater for their constituencies, how can we entrust the whole nation? We entrust the whole nation in their hands. This is a question I was asking myself, but now I think it has become a public question for all Ghanaians, and I hope we find the right answer. Here's a 2 months that I have dedicated to travel around my country, and not only to do a campaign, but also to research, the potential opportunities in these areas. So now I'm having to cross from the north. After going through Tamale, Bolega, in the upper east, upper west, northeast, coming down to Savannah, I realized that there was a pathway that takes you to the Voltarian sector, which is OT. And now we were going back on the river a farm, which would take us to Oti, Dambai. This region was highly deprived. I saw the worst primary schools here. The teachers did not have an office to sit. The headmaster sat under the tree. The kids, the children, they all sat on the floor, and there were no chairs. Now I wish that I have videos of this, and I would have loved Ghana to see this state. I don't know if it's so horrifying, reasons why my team is not showing, but this was very disturbing in Dambai. And the next day, we were going to campaign in the market, largest market I've been. It was the biggest. At this market, didn't have one shelter. Everybody sat under the sun. Everyone. And I started to envision, why does this river have only one ferry? That people are coming from places like the Yam City and bringing food to Dambai. And all of a sudden, my anger kind of quenched my hunger for Dambai. I realized that this is a huge potential, a huge opportunity that we can actually, based on our, I can see that there's the water showing. I'm sorry, this is actually Volta Lake, but I know the Afram water very well, and it sits right in front of a huge market, bigger than Makala and Kantamanto put together. And I was there, and I realized that these people have no choice but to actually try to dispose whatever food that is in the market in a space of 7 days, or else, without manufacturing plants, they will be spoiled. Now I had to move from there after crossing from Dambai and visiting Jasikain and all the communities in these constituencies. And I asked myself, why did they separate Volta from Oti when they both have beautiful landscape and a water connecting, which is the lake and Afram, and it connects to more than 7 regions in the country, but yet there is only one ferry in this nation. I'm asking myself the question, what is Ghanaians doing? What do we call investment? Why are we not using these things that we have? And in fact, this is the only ferry you see on our farm water, and see how huge this water is. And it took us only 20 minutes to cross from one part to the other. When I got to Ho and I got to other parts of Volta region, it was the same thing on the lake. In fact, they didn't even have a ferry. They had a canoe with a boat. People have no access to capital, no government support. Hohoi and Ho could have been like Beverly Hills, but it's well underdeveloped. Keta was one of the favorite and the best landscape I saw in Ghana. In fact, Keta has a lagoon that meets the sea, a multi-billion-dollar development opportunity that will make Ghana have the likes of Miami and Dubai, the biggest tourist attraction. Talking about all of these places, we were not stopping. And the next place we were supposed to be going from Volta after we finished OT was the Western and the Western North. The Western North and the Western, Pristia, Takwa, Asangrogwa, yes, and Wasa Ekro. Some of the names I've forgotten. Please pardon me, but it was a lot of names. But I remember Wasa Ekropon very well. Pristia, we had over 5,000 youth, facing us, looking for opportunity, and they were expecting us. I can never forget that very moment, how we were welcomed. But the thing is, we drove over 2 hours on untarred road. We saw that the largest gold mines owned by foreigners were situated in these areas. But worse roads, highly polluted environment. In fact, this is the richest region in the country, the Western. Our research says that it has over 1.7 trillion attributable reserves and arable lands for farming. But I was surprised how it was being used. Where did we go wrong in Ghana? Now, I came to Central Region, and now I'm in Accra. Central Region, I did see one of the best policies in Africa, in Central Region. But I believe that the value in Central Region has not been harnessed properly. The point, to summarize what I'm saying, is that I have discovered more poverty. I have discovered more pain, more struggle, more pollution, and no hope with this trip. And I've realized that our leaders haven't invested in the people, in the constituencies, 276 constituencies. I've realized that that's what forms the entire parliamentarians. Well, tonight, tell everyone that is listening to me that I've had the opportunity to travel around Ghana, and I've had the chance to see what we live for and how bad we have treated our people. And that did not bring me down, but rather it inspired me and made me realize that we have work to do. It doesn't matter. And I'm not here to bring down any party in the past. And I'm not here to also talk about the past that we've done wrong. I'm here to talk about the build our nation a fair share of their own